What's up, everybody? It is springtime, so that means it's time to plant. And here at the farm, we have to get our ground ready. So the tractor kind of set outside some last year and got some water in it. So we got a leak somewhere. The transmission got some water in it, so the oil or the hydraulic fluid is very milky. We can't use it. So we got to use a tiller, but we don't have a tiller until now. This is what we're going to be using. This little estate sale find is a Task Force, so that's Lowe's brand, but judging by the looks of it, it's probably early 90s. It is a rear tine tiller. Let's see the tines back here. So basically the way these things work is the motor drives a pulley in the transmission here. It turns the wheels forward. You go forward. The tines rotate opposite, so it's working against the tiller. So the tiller's pulling it forward, the tines are trying to work it backwards, and it really chops up the ground. They do a really good job of tilling up the ground. This one has been sitting for a lot of years. Tires are flat. The fuel tank, I probably can't see in there, but you'll just have to take my word for it. I'll show it when I get the fuel tank off. It's definitely all right. So this thing has not run in years, but the good thing is it's an old flathead Briggs, and I love these motors. They're easy to work on. I grew up working on these motors for go-karts, but to get it running, we're gonna need to do a few things. Because it's been sitting so long, we're definitely gonna change the oil. We got to get the fuel tank off first and clean it, because there's a lot of rust in there. Got to clean the carburetor, change the oil. We got an air filter to put on it, and the tires are flat, so we tried to pump it up when we left the estate sale, and they just kind of went back flat. So we got some tire slime we'll put in there, and then hopefully we can get this thing running and plow up the garden with it. So let's get that tank off. All right, we're gonna start with the air filter. The metal stuff. It's a little bit older style. Some have plastic, but most of them were metal. The good thing about the condition this was in is it appears that more than likely the guy used it, put it away in his barn at the end of the season, and then it just set. So more than likely it's going to run fine. It wasn't taken apart like he started working on it, couldn't figure it out. There's no indications that it's a catastrophic failure. So, but there is indications that it is just set for a long period of time. Even the air filter, so all this rust in here and in here is from humidity in the air. Builds up inside of here, condenses, and it rusts it out. The air filter looks really good considering. So carburetor looks really good. The bad thing, and we'll know once we pull the tank and the carb off, is any rust down in the tank that may have got sucked up into the carburetor, but we will see. But anywho, let's go ahead and remove these bolts, take the cover off, and then we can see, we can get access to the bolts on the carburetor, and then there's a bracket up under the tank that holds this whole thing on. Throttle cable's working good. Choke works. So the big problem with these is there's a paper gasket in between the carburetor and the tank. And so when you take these two loose, 90% of the time it's going to tear that gasket up and you're going to need to replace it. You're going to need another one. But let's just keep on going. Time to pop these tabs back. I'm glad that came off easy. Nice. I'll choke the lever off. Oh, this is easy. Easy to get these. Funny thing about these, back in the day, man, you could hop up one of these and you would have the baddest go-kart or mini bike around. That was before all the Predator motors and the Ghost motors and the Honda, when they had the overhead valve stuff. Before they come out with all that, they had the old flathead Briggs, and man, I used to soup these things up. I'd put, like, this is a 5-horse, I'd put valve springs from like an 8-horse in it, something real stiff. We used to take a wheel cylinder and hone out the carburetors and make the carburetors bigger, port the exhaust and put a different exhaust on it, and I mean, probably in reality gained like 2 horsepower, but it felt like we was doing something. There we go. Bam. Now all this is your governor down here, so you got to take this linkage off too. Just this one, if you can see this little one right here on your throttle cable. It's directly connected to your throttle. So I'm just gonna pop this out. Stick this back on here so I don't lose it. Missing out. There's our throttle cable. Now, our whole assembly. All right, we got us a jar. Let's see what this fuel looks like. That's not good. That's nasty. There's chunks. See when we get the chunks out. In case you don't know, gasoline's not supposed to look like that. So let's pop this carburetor off of the fuel tank and fill that thing with some evaporust. You got to be careful because there's a pickup tube that comes through the gas tank down into the carburetor, and I don't want to, it's plastic, I don't want to pull this too much and twist it and break that pickup tube. So see, there's our pickup tube, there's our carburetor. Rust City here, and there's that paper gasket I was talking about that it ripped right there, and it's kind of bubbled up. They always rip. I mean, I've never taken one apart like this that I've been able to save this. So all right, let's fill this with some evaporust while we take this apart and clean it up. This stuff is awesome if you've never used it. You can reuse it multiple times. I've reused this a bunch. It's probably not the most effective anymore, but one good thing you can do with this, if you're a little bit short on evaporust, you can fill it the rest of the way with water. So I'm gonna do that now. Stick the cap back on here. I wanted to get some up into this cavity here. And we'll let it sit. All right, so we're gonna pop the spark plug out. It's a nice, even black kind of coating. It's not wet, which being set this long, it probably wouldn't be even if it was running rich. But it's not white, where it's too hot, so it's not been running lean. So by all appearances of the spark plug, it looks to have been running well. So let's pop this in here, put it on something that grounds it. It's definitely got spark. But another thing we can feel right now, if you hold your finger over a spark plug hole, you feel there's pretty doggone good compression. Now I have a compression gauge inside, but there's no need. I can tell by feeling it that that's enough compression to run. So I'm gonna start by going in, counting how many turns it goes in, so that I can remember how many this one was adjusted outward. So it's half, one, half. So 1 3/4 turns out from all the way in. It's been a long time. There's some corrosion stuff on there. A little bit of corrosion. Let's see. It's been a long time since I worked on these. Little diaphragm in here if I remember correctly. Yep, there's a little diaphragm. A little corrosion. There's enough. That's inside here. Well, I can't get the jet out, but I sprayed through it. Seems to be clean. This whole carburetor is pretty clean anyway, so I'll go ahead and put this thing back together. Hopefully this diaphragm holds. Go all the way tight and then back it off half, 1, half, 3/4. 1 3/4 turns about where it was before, and spray this out. All right, it's ready to go back on. So while we're waiting on the tank still, this is our little rubber boot that was on our breather. It's split there and there. I'm gonna clean it a little bit. Just clean it with some brake cleaner. Obviously I don't wanna soak it too much because the brake cleaner will kind of dissolve it, but Let that dry for a minute, and then we're going to put some old super glue on it right there and right there and fix those little splits. Got one of my favorite super glues, Gorilla. Come here. Come on. Come on. All right, so it has been a little over a day. We're going to dump that Evaporust out of the gas tank, finish cleaning it out, and let's put this thing back together. This thing doesn't pour very well. That's better. Good thing the Evaporust is safe and non-toxic. Safe for the environment. Tank looks like brand new though. Let's rinse it out. See if I can get a shot of it. There's the inside of the tank. It's a whole lot better than it was. So the Evaporust works great. Let's try to get this thing back together and see if it'll run. I'm gonna try to use these gaskets and hope it holds up. Stick our carburetor back on here. Let's see. Goes like that. Super glue's holding up good. Now let's see, let's go set it back in place. So we've got to hook this wire back into here. This spring will hook around here, and then this will come up to here. And then our throttle cable oh, it's going to hook in there somewhere. Got the hook on the back side of there. This will hook to here. And I'm going to go ahead and change the oil. Just got this plug here. We'll go ahead and take this cap off so the crankcase can vent. I'll leave it up here so I remember it's out. And then we'll take a wrench. Oh goodness. Ah, that's a good way to bust your knuckles. Hasn't been out in a while, but I'll just let that be draining. Oh yeah. Alright, that is stopped draining. We'll take the plug, go ahead and stick it back in there, snug it up, wipe some of this oil off, and then what we're going to put back in it, small engine oil, SAE 30 weight oil.
kind of the old school oil. But I've got it sitting pretty level back and forth, and I'm just going to fill it up until we see a good level in the drain hole, and that's it. That thing ain't gonna know how to act with oil this clean. It's good, but put some fuel in it, see if it'll run. That's enough for now. We are in neutral. So one thing. Well, shoot, I'll put some gas down there. Let's see what that does. Now, let's see if it cranks back up. I did have the lever pulled all the way back to the stop position. I couldn't read it because it's so messed up, but oh, that tire's cracked big time. No wonder it's leaky. Let's see if it cranks back up. Sweet. Awesome, let's put it back together, get some air in them tires, and go till some ground. Whew, it's hot already. Oh, about to forget. Not that it really makes that much of a difference. Gasket on here. And let's go ahead and fill it up. air in the tires. I'm gonna put some slime in there. Hopefully that holds. Take the valve stem out. 2 of these, so I'm gonna pump half into here. Take our valve stem back in there. It's leaking a lot, but hopefully when I start rolling it, that stuff will seal up the cracks. So I'm gonna do the other tire real quick. I'm not gonna film it, but then I'll get back and we'll start moving this joker. So that tire's leaking pretty good, but let's go ahead and crank it up and get it rolling and try to spin some of that slime around in there. Hopefully it cranks back up. There we go. As you can see, the tiller worked great, kind of. It did run. I wondered if it would run. It did run. Unfortunately, something happened probably in the chain drive. From what I've been reading, it went out of gear and quit moving. It was tilling, but it just quit spinning, quit moving forward. So I'm gonna have to check that out, but that's it for this video. If you liked it, please hit the subscribe button, give me a thumbs up, and see you on the next one.